Yes, good day. The reason why I'm starting this channel is because I suffer from it. I live here now in New Zealand and have been playing sport basically since I can remember walking. Even before that, I was involved in sport when I was still a little baby. Um, I played rugby as a junior, rugby in senior, and then I went to university. I rowed at school, went to university, also rowed there, and when I became too slow for rowing, I went in to play underwater hockey. Many of you may not know the sport, but please Google it. I'll put some more links later on to the sport. The early underwater hockey, or aqua bush as it is known, is basically derived from spear fishermen in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and England who wanted to keep fit during the off seasons. So they developed a game called underwater hockey down in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, used aqua bush. One-handed stick up in the northern hemisphere, two-handed stick in the southern hemisphere. The two-handed stick looked like a hockey stick and had a puck, copper puck, weighing over 2.5 kgs. And I'm not too sure how the aqua push one did, but I'll do some more research on that because it's been such a long time. I started playing in 1988, roughly, when I started diving at University Rhodes University in Grahamstown, where I was told by my instructor to come and try the sport because I didn't like my mask being ripped off during our dive training when I was learning to become a scuba diver. I subsequently started playing the game and thoroughly enjoyed it. I found it was a game I could really get used to. It helped my diving, helped my breath hold underwater, and it helped my functions. It also helped me get through university because I had a place where I could step aside from studies and basically do something very active. I subsequently became extremely good at it. I finally got my border colours, which is like your provincial colours, in 1991 when I left university and started working in King Williamstown. But I played in East London for the Border Underwater Sea Club, in which I played, was subsequently selected for Border Underwater Hockey and went to their nationals and also all the club events. We Border Underwater Hockey team won 2 nationals in 1994 and 1998. We won the B League nationals in both of those years quite convincingly in 1998, where we never lost a single game and we basically drilled everybody in the league. It was very surprising. Out of that 10, 6 of us have left South Africa due to the current situation then and now. I mean, you can Google anything about Southern Africa now and you'll see why people are leaving or have left. I then came to New Zealand. I played for Canterbury under the Kiwi2 Underwater Hockey banner. Also was seconded to play for North West under the late, see, my memory's gone now. I'll remember his name. He ran the hockey in Rotorua, and he asked me to come play for them one year when I wasn't able to make the selections for Canterbury due to other commitments, and that we had a full team. And so I said yes. I subsequently moved from Christchurch to Auckland and played under the Blue Fins Underwater Hockey banner. I was still playing A League at the time, or slash Prem as they would call it, because I was under 30 at the time, or under 35 at the time, and played for them, and also started trying to get into the New Zealand team. I didn't make the New Zealand elite team on 2 attempts, one due to severe lack of health. I had severe injuries in my arms from hitting the bottom and getting tennis elbow and golf elbow. I have subsequently then started training with the Masters for New Zealand and got selected in 2003 to go to Tasmania, Hobart, to represent New Zealand. There we played, unfortunately, only against Australia. Lost most of our games, or all of them actually, but we learned a lot. The game started really evolving from the old days where I used aqua push sticks, which looked like a T-bone steak, to what you now can see in underwater hockey, sticks is cheese from chalk. The stick technology has just improved. We were fortunate enough here to have a very good puck maker in New Zealand who designed and made the puck we use and the puck that's used around most countries now, which only weighs about 800 grams, although it's got lead inside, it's got a covering on the outside, but it's a hard covering, and due to the fact of its lightness and etc. and its stability, it can fly very far and high in the water. This became a major concern to a lot of players and officials, and so the head rule was brought about, where if you flicked anywhere within the perimeter area of the head, it was called a foul and you could be sent out of the water. Subsequently, lots of us have been hit with it, even though in the old days I was hit with a solid lead puck. Numerous times the old solid lead puck actually sliced me open on one occasion in East London. Fortunately, I saw it coming and I managed to avoid it hitting my head. But the nature of the game, although it's a non-contact sport, we do get elbows to the head, knees to the head. Burst eardrums was very common until the guys started wearing the water polo caps. But that is now still doesn't stop people from having the eardrums burst, although it's not as frequent as it used to be. I think the game has evolved from the old bash and benny style, where you had to bash your way through, to more of a skill style where you got to flick the puck, make it pass, etc. Especially in the A to elite side and upwards, even in the master side, you have to be extremely skillful with the puck, etc. to do that. So it's no longer a bash and game, although the lower grades and school grades still is a bit of a bash and benny game, especially against beginners. So you do get hit a lot, not just with, as I said, the puck, but with all different body parts. It's not intentional. Sometimes there are, and those people, if the ref sees them, are sent out. And so hence I had an injury in 2013, October the 13th. Why I remember it so that I write this date down in my brain, because I know I'm losing my memory. I fought ACC for that. Well, actually, what happened, I was playing against one of our Pekawanka sides, who were notoriously known for just turning on the puck, fouling you, in other words, preventing you from getting to the puck. That time I was playing right-handed, because I normally play left-handed, and I'm ambidextrous, so I was playing with my right hand to give my left hand a rest, because I had a niggle on my elbow again, and I flicked the puck past one of the players, and as I flicked it, I turbocharged the fins to get underneath him, or to get to the puck, and I reached, but he just turned and stopped, at which I head-butted him into his pelvis area, and I just saw black stars, whatever, and shot off to the surface immediately. That caused my right arm to be caught underneath him. The guy in question weighs at least 89 or 80 to 100 kgs in the dry, and so you can imagine me trying to lift him up with my right arm while I'm trying to shoot to the top with this black vision. That's all I saw, was like a black cloud in front of me. I couldn't see anything. I just managed to get to the surface, get to the side of the pool, rolled out, and there I lay until I could get up. I was in extreme pain. I thought nothing of it, like normal. I just shrugged it off. Took a couple of days to recover. Never did. I tried to play again, but I played with my left hand because my right arm was so sore all the time, and I was getting sharp pains that started from behind the ear, would shoot right down my right arm to that finger. It felt like I was getting an electric shock, but from there downwards, a reverse shock. So I subsequently went to my local doctor, and it was a lady doctor, Dr. Fox, Jamie Fox, I think her name was, and she advised me not to play the sport anymore because of the head injury. I thought nothing of it, and we started investigating what was wrong. I had various scans, everything, and one of the things they found when I shot up, I actually tore my rotator cuff. Now this was in 2013. I was roughly 45 years old. I was playing B League because it was closer to my house, and I just enjoyed them. You didn't have to be as fit and as etc. to play. I subsequently had to fight ACC for the rotator cuff injury. I went to see Dr. Craig Ball at the hospital in Green Lane, the Ascot Hospital, and he said to me, yes, I have torn my rotator cuff after they saw the CT scans, whatever it was. But that still didn't stop the headaches and the sparking thing, the shooting electrical pain that I was experiencing. I was also experiencing my right hand, going completely numb on me. While especially riding my motorcycle, I was riding a 600 Ninja at the time, and I had to stop sometimes to or hold my hand on the tank until I had enough grip or sensors left in my hand so I could hold the throttle. And your right hand brake is also there. So that was one of my fears, was that my right hand was going to stop working when it went so numb and I couldn't slow my bike down. But yeah, last time I rode my bike was 2 days before my operation. I think it was in 2015, April the 13th, around there. I'm not too sure exactly on that date. But in the meantime, I had to fight ACC, which is the Accident Compensation Insurance in New Zealand, on the injury. They said, it was of course from old age and not my sport. Unfortunately, Dr. Craig Ball wrote them the manual and he laughed about it and he said, you can fight them. So I did. I fought them, and funny enough, the person that they had in litigation against me was a fellow player, Peter Berger. He was their attorney of law down in Dunedin, and even though I don't think he recognised who I was because I'm known by my nickname as Mad Pete, he didn't probably know my real name, surname, and he still had the audacity to ask me, was I a professional sportsman playing underwater hockey? That tape's around somewhere, someone must still have it, so that evidence is lying around somewhere, or maybe ACC's destroyed it because they don't like to be wrong. And subsequently, I won my case on litigation, and they had to do the operation. But that took another 6 months, so I waited over 18 months. The normal stand down time is 6 months, and every month thereafter you take an extra 2 months to recover. ACC still expected me to have the operation and recover from the rotator cuff within 3 to 4 months or 5 months. That I was told I'm still going to get pain by Dr. Ball in my arm, so I thought that was normal. But the shooting electric stuff never went away, the headaches never gone away, and I started getting more numbness in my hands. I just thought it was just the after effect from the operation. No one bothered checking my head again, so I also didn't carry on playing. I subsequently had another accident while I was recovering in May 15. I was dragged down the stairs by my dogs, my pups. A flight of 7 stairs, I don't remember anything. I landed on my head. I decapitated a massive cactus with my left hand. Don't remember that. I remember coming around on the floor, and the 2 dogs that were on leads with me were already by the main house, which is about 80 to 100 meters from where I was lying. They were there when I woke up. They were next to me 1 minute, and when I was on the ground 7 steps down, or 7.5, because they were there. So I definitely hit my head, blacked out. My girlfriend / fiance Lydia took me to the A&E in Pukekohe. I was immediately then rushed to Middlemore Hospital, or Muddlemore, which I would like to call it because it's a pretty useless place really. You'll hear later on in some of my other videos. I was then set there. I got a neck brace put on, and I was under observation. This happened at roughly 7:45 in the morning, 08:15 in the morning. I was finally released from the hospital after going through numerous scans, x-rays and whatever else they did. And I wasn't allowed to eat in case they were going to have to operate again, because it was suspected I might have ripped all the stitches out, because it was only been about a month or 2 since I had the operation. And so I was released from the hospital then roughly about 2300 hours that day, or Saturday. So I came home. I went and spoke to Dr. Ball. We went and got checked further. At that stage I was still able to drive. I wasn't driving then, but I was still able to move around quite freely. So we went and got everything else checked to make sure I hadn't torn the stitches, because there was a big likelihood of it, because I had the dogs in my right hand on the leash, or was it left, I can't even remember, but I know that we were checking that. No one has yet worried about the head injuries. I further took another knock in the pool on my hand, so that wasn't too bad. But you continue getting hurt. I was continually complaining about pain, especially in my arms and my back, and ACC sent me to one of their work doctors, who said, "Oh no, I'm fit enough to do my 20 hours or 30 hours a week work as a contractor." Yeah, I battled to even get work, contract work. After that, I hardly did much work, finding work, because I found it very hard to concentrate. Depression had set in as well, severe depression, suicidal thoughts, etc. I had no idea what was going on with me. I just thought it was all just because of the injury on the arm. I knew something must have been going on with my head, because I was starting to change a lot. My mood swings, getting road rage pretty easily, just general aggressiveness. I carried on playing still. I was getting more aggro in the water, which I never used to be an aggressive player, or that I would moan a lot, mouth off a lot to the refs, etc. when I saw stuff was wrong. But I never ever was an aggressive player that I wanted to smash people in the pool. My final tournament in 2017 on Queen's birthday weekend, I was playing for the C grade, because I then dropped to C grade because I knew I wasn't 100%. I played against a New Zealand ex-Prem player, and he was the dirtiest player I've ever played against, and him and I almost had fisticuffs. I got sent out the pool for 5 minutes because I told him to fuck off. If he ever touched me again, I'm going to fuck him up. And the ref overheard me, sent him out for bashing me, first of all for grabbing me and hitting me, and then I was sent out for foul language. And I sat in front of the chief ref next to this guy, and I said to him, if you ever try that stunt again, I will fuck you up. I don't care about the refs. I mean, that how quick and aggressive I got. I just thought it was just because I was so passionate about the game. But I couldn't play the next game. I got out of water, and I said to the team, "You're going to have to carry on without me. My back is killing me. I've got so much pain in the back, I can hardly move." At that stage, I was getting severe back pains, severe headaches, and still the arm wasn't 100% on the right hand side. This is 2017. Later on in that year, my one dog jockey bowled me over and snapped my left bicep. So I don't know if you can see that. There's a scar there, etc. I've got footage of the bicep attacking. So this happened at about 4 o'clock. Yeah, roughly about 4 o'clock, 1600 hours on a Wednesday. He ran me over. I heard a massive snap like a gunshot, and I went backwards, fell to the ground. I don't know if I knocked my head out or, but I know when I looked again, my dog was nowhere to be seen again, and so I must have hit the head. You don't know when you get knocked out that you knocked out. I got up, clutching my arm in pain, screaming at him, trying to get him, because he was going to chase someone down in the yard, and I'm trying to prevent my dog from getting hurt. My kids, all 5 of them, we got 5 border collies. They're at the back at the moment, having a bit of a time out, and so I cut this long story short. It went to the doctor that day. Took the ambulance 4 hours to come fetch me in Pocono. I lay in pain for over 4 hours, in extreme pain, and I finally got to get to the casualty at Middle Mill, and waited there in casualty for another probably 2 hours before I got seen. It wasn't busy. I've been in busy casualties in Southern Africa. This casualty wasn't busy. I don't know for whatever reason, but they weren't worried about patients. I got to see the doctor. I told him what happened. Then I heard a loud snap. My hand was sore, etc. They x-rayed my wrist and my elbow. Oh, no, nothing wrong. You got a bruised arm. I said, but I heard a snap. Something's broken. Oh, no, you got a bruised arm. Go home. Nothing wrong with you. And I woke up the next day and I started seeing my bicep slowly retracting. That's when I realized I've got a snap bicep. And it started retracting. So 2 days after that, I managed to get a doctor's appointment at a new doctor in Turkey to see them and explain what happened. Was sent to the X-ray department, where they did whatever they do to see it. And then that Friday I was sent to Middlemore again with the x-rays, and they confirmed, another doctor confirmed, yep, snap bicep. He then said they can operate on it, or I can leave it for the rest of my life with no bicep. I said, no, I can't go on with the rest of my life with no bicep in my arms. I'm a physical person. I like to do stuff. And I know without that bicep, you're going to be in thing. And I'm still, I was under 50. So I said, I've got lots of other stuff I can do. Subsequently, yeah, they will operate. They told me to come in on that Saturday morning. They phoned me to come in on the Sunday. I went in, they lost my file. Long story short, there'll be in another video. It took them over 14 days. Me going in and out, in and out, in and out to Middlemore, or that's why I called it Middlemore, trying to get my operation done. The longer it took, eventually the bicep went higher and higher, and the more complicated the operation would become. And that's what happened. So that was another one. Then that managed to get that done, started recovery with ACC, had physios, yeah. And no matter what they did, I just was in constant pain all the time. I complained about it. I put me on pain management, told me the pain's all in my head. Yes, it's alright. Yes, it is in my head. But it is caused from head injuries, continually head injuries. And now later came out just recently to find out that it's actually got a name. It's called CTE. I can't remember the whole thing, but it's complex. Something, Google it, yeah, it's on Google. Now Google's my mic lately, if I can get in. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I hope I spelled that or said that right. So from 17 to what we now 21, I had this constant pain. In 17, I threatened suicide 3 times. I had the police rock up 3 times. I even had at one stage a big tree, a rope around my neck, and I was balancing on a rock. That's how close I came to taking my life, because I was tired. I couldn't concentrate. I was fighting people that weren't listening. I was being basically done and horrible and ugly towards those who loved me, not intentionally, but not knowing what was going on. Very frustrating. On top of all the depression, I then started suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and that went on. I continued having these headaches, sleeplessness. They put me on a sleep thing, didn't work. And all this time I'm saying to the ICC, there's something else wrong. I've been complaining since the 13 accident that I'm not 100%, I'm not 100%. And they keep on telling me, no, it's not this, it's not this. And then for the last 3 to 4 years, I've been fighting ICC in New Zealand about this pain, headaches, and all these symptoms that I'm getting, and telling them that it's definitely caused from a head injury. I knew it must be a head injury, because how else does your brain stop functioning like that? I started getting progressively worse. I would slur sometimes. I would wake up extremely depressed, have nightmares and flashbacks. That's just been in the last year and a half. I've had lots of nightmares and flashbacks of my PD, post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. Anxiety and all this, and was sick and tired of fighting them, and I was about to start looking for a lawyer to take my case, because I was losing the plot every day. I'll be aggressive, fight with everybody in it, and I knew I can't carry on living like this. I had almost daily suicidal thoughts. I live next to a freeway, and I've seen my psychologist and threatened to go and meet a Big Mac on the State Highway 1. I was busy watching a program I taped where I saw they were talking about rugby and head injuries. Unfortunately, it was a tape, so I thought, hang on, how am I going to see? So I went onto the line and managed to get to watch the program on demand. It was all about CTE and the rugby, New Zealand rugby players, All Blacks, as well as provincial and school level players. I subsequently asked friends and family to please have a look, and all I said to them, please watch this program on rugby players that they've got. That's all I said to them. They all came back to me and said, yes, you have CTE. That's all our symptoms. When I watched it, I cried because I was looking in the mirror. And I was recognizing That's exactly what I'm going through. And yet I'm getting told by ACC that I've never had a head injury because no one's ever bothered to put it on my file. And because it's not on my file as having my head hit or have a head injury, it doesn't exist. So hence now I'm trying to fight them again, and why I've started this channel. And I'd like people to come forward. I'm not the only one, especially not the only one in New Zealand. I mean, American players, football players, they managed to fight and they sued and got etc. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking to blame the sport for it, like some people blame rugby for it. I'm not doing that. I want ACC to stand up and recognise that rugby players aren't the only ones who are suffering from this, and they must recognise that we are suffering from it. We have no less than 1,000 kids every year that play underwater hockey in a tournament here in New Zealand. And with the new puck, how many of these kids are going to suffer from this ETC? Or, sorry, CTE, and they're still young. I mean, how many of these kids are, when they get to 20, 25, are going to be suffering from Parkinson's? Already we have the highest rate of suicide in the world. And all the other symptoms I've suffered from. Most of these kids are already fragile and are probably more prone to suicide. They haven't got that. And also adults are thinking, oh, it's just teenagers. And so I'm trying to save their lives as well. Ultimately, I suffer from everything with the post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm developing Parkinson's, forgetfulness, which is Alzheimer's, and I'm just 52. So that's why I'm starting this channel. I want more people to come forward, not just those from Sunday, the program, and James Cunningham was the doctor on it that was also fighting ACC, and hopefully I'm going to get him on board, and he can help me fight this and try to prevent it, and let's educate minority sports where this is happening as well. I'll come back and do another video. I'm going to try to do them regularly, tell you more of my story, and try to put daily vlogs, as they call them, on. Till then, shalom, God bless, peace. This is Mayor Pete signing off. Cheers.